Ladies, could we talk about how a man's behavior and attitude towards you changes the second you reject them? I get it. Being rejected is not the best feeling. However, when you interact with someone with zero romantic interest and then they're being super nice to you, and then eventually when they shoot their shot and you quote unquote reject them or friend zone them, they totally change. It's like a different person. So in the end, do they show their true colors after you reject them? Let me know what you think in the comments.
Why do guys do this thing where if they like a girl, they'll be doing everything that she likes? They will try to impress her. They'll be doing things to get her attention. But the moment she says, okay, I like you as a friend, but I don't think we can be more than friends, the next thing, these guys will stop doing all those things that they used to do and just be like almost like a ghost. Why do guys do that? Like, what happens to us still being friends regardless? Why can't we go out? Why can't we hang out and just be normal friends? Like, there's no platonic friendship in your dictionary. I don't understand.
There's a man up here that posted and said, "We aren't having a male loneliness epidemic. It's natural selection." No one is choosing you because you don't have the things that would make a very good next generation. It's not male loneliness. It is inadequacy and incompetence. And honestly, probably something about the way you look just doesn't sit right with people. So
a man's actions will tell you how much he likes you. If he tries to hit on another girl or goes for another girl, clearly disrespecting you, or just doesn't seem interested in you, you can't blame other women for it because he's the problem. I will never understand women who go around and say that their man was stolen. Unless you are in a serious committed relationship or marriage and a woman literally tries to come in between you and that man, and even then, she is not stealing your man. She is stealing your problem. He was never your man. I see videos like this from girls in their 20s all the time. He is the problem. A man that really wants to be with you and cares about you is not going to let another girl come in between you guys.
I think if you're a woman that's 35 years old and you don't have no children or you don't have no financial debt and you have your life in order and things structured and in line, you are allowed to be picky with who you choose to give your energy to and who you don't choose to give your energy to. Like, I'm not going to tolerate things that do not make me happy. I've gone this far in my life building brick by brick where I would be, so it would be considered backwards for me to now settle for somebody who doesn't tick off the boxes of making me happy. And I'm not sorry for that at all.
What really helped me stop pining for male validation was one time I went through this guy's search history and I saw the actual garbage slop he was getting off to, and I realized that I didn't even want to be in that same category. Like, he had no taste. And also, whenever I hang out with a guy, and you should do this too, I never correct him or police him, so then he speaks freely and then I can collect data. And the stuff they've admitted, I'm not saying all men are pigs, but when it comes to that area, like, things can get very weird. And I promise you, them feeling that way towards you is not the compliment you think it is. Like, I want to be seen as beautiful and I want to be respected, but I have no desire to be lusted after because I've seen what men lust after, and quite frankly, I think I'm better than that. And you should too.
So, as a woman in her early 30s with no kids on Mother's Day, I can tell you that I feel weird. I feel sad. I feel lonely. I feel left out. I feel behind, I guess. I feel not good. However, I know that I'm waiting for the right person. I know that my career is taking off. I know that I'm independent. I know that I don't sleep with the wrong men. I know that I'm not going to have a baby with the wrong man. I know all of these things. I also know that I've raised 3 dogs and 2 turtles, and they were all great. They're still great. And yeah, but I feel sad. And I could probably cry if I talk about it for 1 more second. So happy Mother's Day to everyone that's a mother.
There's a very simple tactic that you need to use when a guy asks you out on a date or asks for your number, and it is to say no. You just say no. Because after you say no, how that man reacts is going to tell you everything you need to know about him. What, are you in a relationship? That man will never see you as an individual that exists outside of the man's gaze. What? Why not? That man will never respect your decisions and your no. What, you think you're that fucking hot? You think that you're that good? That guy has an inflated ego and he is aggressive and he is dangerous. There are 1,000,001 ways that a man will react to that question, and it's going to tell you a lot of different things about someone's personality, and that's for you to gauge. But the one that you want to look out for and prioritize is the guy that says, okay, cool. I hope you have a good night. Thank you. It was lovely to meet you, and walks away. You grab that man. You grab that man and you give him your number because he respects women.
So can we talk about how lonely it can be to choose to keep the standards that you've set for yourself? It's a Friday night. I'm 41, and I'm really proud of the life that I've built for myself and how I stand on my own. But it's really lonely saying, hey, I'm waiting for a real partner, someone that's done work on themselves, someone that's like trying to be a better person each day and really wants to be an equal partner in this. Like, no one talks about, working all week, work from home, and then also spending all weekend alone because everybody else, has their own lives going on, which is totally normal. Like, no one talks about like that struggle. Like, what do you do when you're 41 and single on a Friday night and you also have better things to do to get wasted? What do you do?
I'm shaking. I just got home from a date. We were going to an event and dinner. We did not make it to dinner. He just dropped me off at home. I'm back home. I've been gone for an hour and 15 minutes. I'm back home. And I have a friend coming to pick me up right now. I just asked him to take me home. You know the amount of times I have wanted to do that while on a date and I didn't, and I just sat there and grinned and bared it. A guy does something or says something or is something that I just don't jive with, and I stick around because it's the polite thing to do. No more of that, girls. I finally just said, look, I have to be really honest. You just did this thing that is really not my vibe and it's turning me off, and I don't think I can make it to dinner with you. To his credit, he took it really, really well, and he said, okay, I actually completely understand. Thank you for telling me, and let's go ahead and get you home. He also asked me out on another date. What? No. Come here. This guy's happy. Come on.
Whenever I meet a super religious man, or even better, a man that just became super religious, I do automatically assume that you are evil, that he is truly deeply evil down to his core. He is evil. He is an evil man. And he's trying to use religion as a way to almost cope with how evil he is because he knows he's evil. And I'm talking, this man has done some truly deeply sinister things. And he's like, if God forgives me, that's all that matters. Or he'll be like, that was a test from God. That was a test from God, and now I'm back on his path. Like, that was a test for me, and now I'm gonna be a better person because of it. You're just evil. You're evil, and you're sinister, and you're a fucking loser. And you're the devil reincarnated, and you're over here being like, Jesus loves you, like, no matter what. And I'm like, okay, like, I see through it, and I know you're evil, so.
Men like their women young because they want to be able to mistreat them without getting caught. They want a girl that doesn't have a lot of life experience, a girl who doesn't know any better, a girl who does not know that she's being treated terribly. The younger that you are, the more naive you are, the more likely you are to believe his buffoonery about, you're so mature, you're not like other girls, don't tell your friends and family about what it is we're doing together, me relentlessly disrespecting you, cheating you, doing this, that, and the third, this is okay. You're just like essentially more likely to believe all of it. Older women who have more going for them, who have more, especially resources when they have a job, a career, money, and they are not relying on a man for anything, and they also have more experience knowing when a man is mistreating them. These tend to be the kind of women that men do not want to date because they're going to be harder to trick because you're going to know more. And also they're not going to need a man as much because they can take care of themselves financially. Men want young women who do not have much going for them because they want to keep them vulnerable and under their control. It's the same reason why men are obsessed with virginity, why they're obsessed with sexual purity. When you are untouched, then you do not have much to compare that man to. And I'm not even just talking about the surface level, like sexual satisfaction or whatever. I'm even just talking about like I've been talking about condoms on here, how some men will say that they won't wear one because they can't fit in it. If you are less sexually experienced, if you are not just generally have less experience dating, you won't know that that is a load of buffoonery. which you would if you had like a little bit more experience, right? That naivete is exactly what these men are going for.
So the thing about if you date men is that I don't think that you can ever really change a man's opinion of you in dating, right? Like once a man thinks of you in a specific way, I really don't think that there's much that you can ever do to change his mind. Meaning, if he sees you casually, there's like nothing that you can do or say that's going to change his mind. You cannot like perform and be this cool girl, whatever it is. If he feels a certain way about you, that is how he feels, which I believe on the contrary, I think women, you can like grow on a woman, right? Like a woman can maybe like, yeah, I didn't like him at first, but then I fell in love with him more. I started to like his personality. Like he grew on me a little bit more. I don't think that happens for men. I think men obviously are very like, physical, like straightforward in that way, and they're very intentional. And so I think that as a woman, if you're going to date men, it would be a waste of your time to ever put effort into a situation where you feel like you have to change a man's opinion of how seriously he's taking you, okay? There's no amount of work, there's no amount of you being a cool girl, whatever it is, that's ever going to change that. And it doesn't have to hurt your feelings. You just know that that's not the right person for you.
To all the women in their 20s coming from a woman in her 40s, I've said it once, I'm going to say it again. The most important decision that you will make in your entire life is who you decide to partner up with. It's why I truly encourage you to not date in your 20s and to take your time picking a partner. You really should be using your 20s to heal your childhood trauma, to learn how to love yourself, to learn how to date yourself, to further your career, to strengthen your friendships. And I know I'm in the minority here. People are going to tell you like, oh, if you don't date in your 20s, how are you going to know who you want to settle down with, XYZ? But if you don't know yourself, you are going to pick the wrong partner. And if you don't love yourself, you're going to pick an even worse partner. And I say this, I'm speaking from experience here and wanting other people to not make the same mistakes that I did. I was married in my 20s, and honestly, it's one of the things that I'm still recovering from in my 40s. I didn't know enough about myself, I didn't know enough about life to know what was good for me and what wasn't, and I ended up in a highly, highly abusive relationship. And again, it's something in my 40s that I'm still recovering from, and because I didn't learn a lot of the things I needed to in my 20s, I feel like now I'm spending my 40s catching up. So I'm just here to tell you to be cautious who you partner up with and to pay attention to those red flags and to trust your gut. And this is if you really feel like you need to date in your 20s. But my best advice is to date yourself.
Did you guys know that 44% of Gen Z men have never approached a woman in public, which makes sense if you haven't been living under a rock. So if you're a Gen Z man or whoever, literally it does not matter, and you're afraid to approach a woman in public or even on a dating app, this video is for you. I've seen a ton of discourse about this online, and I don't know why this gets overcomplicated so quick. It doesn't need to be overthought. All you need to do, if you want to, a girl you think is attractive, just go up to approach her and be like, hey, I think you're stunning. I would love to get to know you more. Here's my number if you want it. Video doesn't need to be drawn out any longer than that. That's all you need to do. Give her a number, and I'm sure she'll be kind and respect you more and actually take your number because you had the balls to ask and approach her in public. It's pretty easy to tell if a girl's not interested, but if she doesn't treat you with respect and isn't kind, then think you dodged a bullet. Why would you want to be with someone who wouldn't be kind to anyone in that situation? And two, I get a bunch of comments about dating apps and responding to girls on dating apps. Just say hey or say something funny. I love when a guy actually shows his personality and is a smartass or sarcastic when responding to me or messaging me on dating apps like Cuffed. One of my all-time favorite, I'll never forget, he responded of a picture of my dog, and then he goes, yeah, your dog's cute, but do you fuck with guys who juggle? I don't know, as someone who just turned 26, those are my thoughts. Let me know what you think in the comments.
Why am I 35 and still single? I feel like this is an epidemic in the world. You have so many awesome women that are just out here looking for a good partner. I cannot stand dating websites. Me and my cousin, who is about 9.5 years younger than me, downloaded Hinge on a pop the balloon night just for fun. And when I say matched with a few people, but literally deleted it within 48 hours because I just couldn't deal. I need to connect with someone in person. I need to see what your vibe is. I can't just connect with you based off of surface level things or little tidbits and facts you're probably lying about. Yeah, I just feel like society has just taken a turn. Social media, although it's a blessing in a lot of ways, I feel like it's a curse because everybody is so accessible and nobody's willing to commit to one person or work on anything or kind of like fight through anything because, well, I'll just move on to the next one. Here's a woman who doesn't have her standards as high or, will turn a blind eye to certain things. And it's just not fair. It's not fair. So I know if I'm willing to be committed, loyal, dedicated, and really pour into a person, there has to be at least one other person out there that has the same morals and values. But I just don't get it.
I'm 46, and here are 5 things I would tell my 36-year-old self. Number 1, rejection is God's protection. What feels like the worst thing right now will someday make sense. You will either laugh, cry, or cringe at what you thought was the end, and it will all make sense, and you will realize it was a blessing in disguise. 2, you're not old at 40, but the more you tell yourself that, the more it becomes your reality. The truth is that it's just the beginning. It's the alcohol, the fatigue, the cravings, the energy crashes, the headaches, the dry skin, the brittle hair. You're not broken, you're just drinking way too much. There's no right timeline. Having babies in your 20s is beautiful. Having them in your 40s is beautiful. Life doesn't run on a timeline. Number 5, this one is kind of controversial and very personal to me. Pets are a commitment. That cute puppy, those cute little kittens you want now, you will have them for the next 15 to maybe 17 years. Pets are a commitment, and you may think you want the farm now, but life can throw many curveballs, and when you have pets, it can add a lot of responsibility and a lot of stress. Yes, they can be a blessing, but they can also be very stressful. Number 5, 6, I don't know what I'm on, but it's okay to be unliked. Be yourself, protect your peace. The right people will find you, and they will love you for exactly who you are. Here's a bonus one. Maybe you didn't peak in your teens. Maybe you didn't peak in your 20s or your 30s. Maybe your glow up era is in your 40s. Trust the process. Trust in God's plan. Let go of the past. Be free. Do you. I love you. You got this. Bye.
I just went to lunch to Kroger to go grab some fruit. That's what I eat for lunch a lot. And I had this very young, I want to say a young man, but he was still a child. Like, probably have 3 kids older than him. And not only on top of that, like, I could be a grandmother anytime now. Like, that's how I have kids old enough to make me a grandmother. So, he's asking for my Instagram, my IG. At first he's like, how old are you, ma'am? And I was like, I'm 40. I'm 40. And he's like, well, can I get your Instagram? I'm like, no, bro. No, you can't. And he's like, well, what do you do for, I was like, well, I'm an accountant. Okay. And not the spicy kind, the regular kind. And he's like, oh, I was thinking about going to like TCC and doing some classes, which there's like a community college right next to the Kroger. And I was like, yeah, you should do that. And he's like, no, but for real, can I get your Instagram? I'm like, bro. I was like, no. No. I was like, I'm super flattered. I just wanted to keep calling boy, son. Like, I was like, honey, I'm flattered, but like, no. I am way too old for you. But what's really sad about this is that probably 16-year-old kid has more fucking nuts than most of the grown men out here. 'Cause I don't ever get hit on in public. Ever. By men. Apparently. Grown men. Grown, my age appropriate men. So, y'all need to do better. Shit. And that was just the grocery store. I was just in the parking lot. Like, damn it.
Men's obsession with your body count isn't about sex. It's all economics. But being a hot commodity doesn't make you any less of a commodity. Even if your face card never declines, your body count is your credit score. You end up paying more interest or for interest the longer you have it. And by that I mean men's interest in you. It's both the deflation of our sexual market value and our bodies. And so we inject a special kind of liquidity into our assets, Botox and Juvederm, to restore lost volume. But it's just as much of a capital injection as a cosmetic one. That's the Das Kapital of it all. But according to Marx himself, commodities must all change hands. And in my interpretation, that means all commodities are whores, and all whores are commodities. At the very least, that's what the men in my last video's comment section seem to think about me. That I am a slut, that I am a whore, that I am a 2 or 3 on a scale of 1 to 10. What man would ever want to be with me? Although simultaneously they seem to think I was pretty ran through. If commodities must change hands, then objects are meant to be touched. And if you as a woman are objectified, that means that you as a woman are meant to be touched. If we use men's own market logic against them, that means that by design, women are meant to be exchanged from one hand to the other over and over again until we are like a dollar bill lost in circulation. And that's how they describe us. Passed around, worn out, used up. But the thing is, it is completely contrary to market logic that as women, if we are indeed commodities, that we are meant to be kept women, that we are meant to be off the market. We are not meant to be private property in the sole possession of one man. Instead, we are meant to be given to the highest bidder, and that's supposedly how their little market system works. But all this financial jargon aside, what's really going on is men are having intersexual competition among each other. In many ways, it's quite homosexual. When they rate you and calculate your worth on a scale of 1 to 10 determined by your physical appearance, how many partners you've had, they seem strangely fixated on how many phalluses you've encountered in your life. Women are bought and sold tokens to establish the dominance of one man over another. Commodities are not sentient beings, and that's why incels, when they apply this market logic to women's worth and value, they don't treat us as conscious individuals, because value is not intrinsic to a commodity, it is socially projected. It's a system of bartering. Men negotiate among themselves the transactions of different women, which is why when you see the E-files, they are meant to be touched, exchanged, owned, bought, and sold by design.
Okay, can somebody please explain men to me? I'm 63 years old and still haven't been able to figure them out. A year ago, I moved into a new apartment complex where I met one of my neighbors, and he immediately took a liking to me. And we were hanging out a lot, and we get along great. He's got a great sense of humor, so, he makes me laugh, and we have a good time together. But that's all I want. I'm not looking to be in a relationship, and he wants something more. So I've tried telling him I'm not interested in a relationship. I like what we have. I like the friendship aspect of our relationship. And that's as far as I want it to go. I've told him this now for the last year. And finally, 2 nights ago, he got it. And he said, well, damn, if you're not my soulmate, then I guess I got to start all over. And I just told him, just be open to whatever God has coming your way. You're telling me that this is a God thing and that he's the one that's telling you, about your soulmate. And you keep saying that these videos and things that you're watching are about me, but they aren't about me because I'm not your soulmate. I don't have the same feelings. So again, like I said, it took him a year to finally get it. And now he won't talk to me at all. So, I still want to be friends. I still want to hang out with him, but I don't know. guess he's not capable of being just friends. But it wasn't like I let him on or anything. It was from the very start, no, it's not going there. So can somebody tell me what happened? Why? Is it just because he's a man? Are all men like this? Is it no wonder I don't want to be in a relationship? Oh. So if anybody has any answers as to what possibly was going on in his mind, please share with me, because I would really like to know. Till next time, thanks guys.
Has anyone gotten to that point in their life, in their late 20s, where they just don't think that they're gonna date anymore? Like, having a sperm donor when you want to have a kid sounds way more realistic than actually seeing a future with someone else. I don't know if it's the dating age that we're in now, that everything is so digital that every single person feels like they have a million options, so they never know what they want and they can just have the next best thing and they never feel like they want to settle. Or everyone just gotten their heart completely tossed around and thrashed to the point where they're just kind of exhausted of giving someone else the power to hurt them. So dating actually seems more exhausting and scary than being alone. What's weird is I've gotten to this point in my life where the options are limitless. Like, if I wanted to have a boyfriend right now, I could. If I wanted to get a husband and get married right now, I could. Start a family, do the whole shebang, I could. But the idea of even wanting someone to be that close to me anymore sounds truly exhausting. And I've never looked at love as exhausting or a waste of time. But I've gotten to this point in my life where I'm pretty much settled in how I feel, that the only thing I'm constantly worried about is how I can make more money on my own and give myself a life, not ever wanting to rely on someone else to give me that life. Growing up, I always thought that my future husband was going to be the breadwinner and I was going to have this gorgeous life and I was going to be married by 30 years old and have a kid by 30. And then reality hit and I realized that I have not found someone that I love so unconditionally that I would even want them to be a part of my life for the rest of my life. And having to then split decisions about my kid when we have a child together and everything else in my life, it sounds miserable. And it makes me so sad because the only thing I ever really wanted was a big, beautiful family, to be in love, for my kids to look at their parents and always be like, wow, my parents are so in love. Because when I was a kid, I had friends' parents that were like that. And now I'm sitting here just thinking, I don't think I'm ever going to deeply, deeply be that in love ever again. And my brain's kind of just settled with it. I'm 28, I'm a beautiful girl, I have a beautiful social life, I can take care of myself, and I can talk to virtually anyone, and I have a great flirty personality. And some part of me just feels like I wasted so much of my early 20s on someone that I loved so much and it wasn't going anywhere, and I had so much heartache throughout my early 20s that I don't even want to experience that ever again. I cannot imagine my life with anyone else except the kids that I decide to have when I want them, and I will financially take care of them, and it will be from a sperm donor. And I can't tell if I'm happy or sad with that, because regardless, I still have that future that I wanted when I was a kid, but there's a big part missing, and it was a partner that I just don't see anymore.